Well, good day. We're talking to Sebastian Bach. Sebastian, thanks for taking time out of, I know, a very busy schedule to hang out with us for a little bit here in Tucson, Arizona.
Well, last night I played the House of Blues in Las Vegas for Eddie Trunk's 40th anniversary. And I got to sing the Van Halen song DOA from Van Halen 2 with Michael Anthony. So it was like, that's a real dream come true for me. Van Halen is one of my all-time favorite bands. So I'm kind of recuperating from that right now.
That seems like that had to be a blast.
Well, I love Van Halen. Like, I mean, who doesn't? When I was a kid, me and my friends, like, if we were having an incredible time, or if we were about to like go through something crazy, we would look at each other and shout, Van Halen.
Me and my friends as well, man. That is awesome. Well, you know what? Just about a week ago, I got an email and it had a brand new song from you called "What Do I Gotta Lose?" And I watched the video and I love the song, man. I love it.
Well, I could not be more proud of the song. I've been working on it for like 10 years. No joke. Um, it's a very confusing world that we live in. Like when we started in Skid Row, the only way you could hear a song is if you went to the store and bought it, or you listen to KUPD or radio station. But these days with the internet, you got to figure out a way to put it out so it kind of cuts through all the clutter.
Yep.
And we shot this video with Craig Gass, who's hilarious. And it was directed by Jim Louveau, who's actually from Phoenix.
Actually, he's a very, very good friend of mine.
He's incredible, man.
Yes.
He really had a vision for me. And, I'm 55 years old, so it's very intimidating for me to shoot a rock video when people are going to compare it to videos that I shot when I was 19. So it's like Jim really went like over the top as far as making an incredible video. And I miss the days of fun rock videos. Like my new video reminds me of like Back for More by Rat, when Motley Crue drive up and pick up Bobby in the car. Like I love rock videos. And people really don't put a lot of effort into that anymore. So to work with Jim, he really, really had a cool vision for the song and made a video to me that's totally entertaining. So he's an incredible talent, and I'm very happy to work with him.
He's also the clown and Gene Simmons in the video, isn't he?
Well, yeah, but the, the concept of the video is me driving to a concert of one of my shows, and driving down the road and picking up things that are important to me, or people, and driving past things that are not important to me. So to me, the clown really, I don't really, well, I'll just explain it. To me, the clown
Hmm.
represents an emoji. Okay. On the internet what that means, right? Like,
Hmm.
I'm not going to get into all that. So I drive past that because I'm so tired of the internet. I'm so I'm so sick of it, man. Like, really. Like, I'm into collecting vinyl. I'm into putting out music and video. I'm so tired of this guy said this about this guy, and this said this about. I'm so sick of it, bro. So like I drive past the clown, which to me represents an emoji. But then I look in my rearview mirror, and me and Jim like figured this out. I go, dude, what if the clown turned into Gene Simmons? And I have this whole collection of Kiss stuff. So I go into my collection and I pull out a full jean costume and mask, and Jim just goes, "Oh my God, man." And then so when it's Gene, I say, "Get in the car, man," because this album also represents what I got into rock and roll for in the first place when I was a little kid. And the title has to do with that, and the artwork has to do with that. But I can't tell you about that yet because we're leading up to all that.
Yeah, I heard. I heard originally it was self-titled, but then I was told no, it's not. There's a story coming for that.
There is a whole story. And you know what it is? To me, rock and roll is the most visceral art form, which means that to me, rock music makes me feel emotion more than any other kind of art. Like I could watch a movie that I love. I love Jaws. I love The Shining. I love The Godfather. I love 76 King Kong. Like there's movies that I love, but they don't hit me like Saturday in the Park. I think it was the 4th of July, like by Chicago. When I hear a song like that, I'm immediately playing frisbee with my dad in the backyard, or
Hmm.
I'm sitting in the back seat of my mom's car driving to school. And I know, Larry, you're in the you do this for a living like I do. So you must know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. I can hear a
Yeah.
song, Seasons in the Sun from
Oh,
1973, and it brings
Seasons
me
in
back
the
to being a kiddo at walking to elementary school.
Seasons in the Sun. That's a Canadian song. That's from Vancouver.
Yeah.
That was big in Tucson?
Well, big in Ohio, where I'm originally from.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah.
We had joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun.
Also
Dude.
became the theme of my high school yearbook in
Oh,
Phoenix when I when
oh.
I grew up in Tempe out there.
Well,
Uh,
what years were you living in Phoenix?
I left Phoenix in 2005 to go work at a radio station in Vegas for a couple years, and then came down here in 2007. Been here ever since. I actually worked at KUPD back in the 80s. So,
Okay. So were you in Phoenix in like 87?
oh yeah,
Oh,
oh yeah.
dude.
I was
I
at
lived,
KUPD in '87,
okay, so
breaking you guys. So,
are you ready for this?
uh-huh.
I lived in Glendale, Arizona in 1987. I was in a band called Madam X, and
Yeah,
we used to rehearse at a place called Rockers on
yes.
Indian School Road. Do you remember that?
Bruce and Brett Kaiser.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So Rick Rocker, who owned Rockers, he would let us rehearse there, but we had no money. So he only let us rehearse at 7 in the morning.
Wow.
And I was like 16 or 17 years old. And I couldn't sing at 7 in the morning. It
I
was
had no idea that you had Phoenix roots, Sebastian. That is fantastic. Wow.
Well, we rehearsed at Rockers, and I always tell people this. When it was last call, 2 in the morning at Rockers in Phoenix, Rick Rocker would walk around the club with a leaf blower and blow people out the door.
Time to go. Get out of here.
He's like, "Get out of here!" People
And
like,
back
"What
then the drinking shut down at 1 o'clock. Yep.
did you ever go there?"
Oh yeah, I've been there quite a few times. There in the Mason Jar and
Yes.
all kinds of places. Yeah, I started at KUPD back in 1986.
Amazing. Well,
And
it is possible, Larry, that you and me were at Rockers at the same
well,
time.
I'm friends with Bruce and Brett.
Yes.
And so I've known them forever. And Jim Laveau and I go back at least 25, I don't want to say a long time. Let's just say I had hair when I met him. And he was in a band called Victims in Ecstasy, and I'm a big fan of his. And when I actually saw the press release come across with your video directed by Jim Laveau, I went, "Is there another Jim Laveau?" And all of a sudden, I'm on his Facebook page, and he's posting. I go, "Nope, apparently it's the same one I know." I'm a big fan of his music and his photography and his
Oh yeah.
videography and I was and also too. There's another connection. Craig Gass comes on
Oh,
our radio station all the time here in Tucson. I've known him since I moved here. So there's a big Arizona connection with you and this video as well.
right on. Well, we filmed part of it in Phoenix at Jim's studio. And it's funny when you say, "Oh, is that the same Jim Laveau?" Do you collect vinyl? Do you collect vinyl?
Some,
Or
yeah. Hmm.
some people do, some people don't. I'm a hardcore vinyl collector, and my album was produced by Elvis Baskett, who did Wolfgang Van Halen's new records and Alter Bridge and Seven Dust and Miles Kennedy and
He helped
uh,
you write the song, Miles, right?
yes, he did. But I'm just saying, I'm leading to a point here. So Elvis produced it, and he really had the vision for this record, and I have him to thank. But who mastered the record is a guy by the name of Robert Ludwig, who I'm friends with Adam from Tool.
Hmm.
And when I saw the new Tool record, I looked at the credits and it said mastered by Robert Ludwig. And I go, this is not the same Robert Ludwig who mastered Led Zeppelin 2 and Kiss Alive and Jimi Hendrix Cry of Love and Steely Dan and Donald Fagen, the Night Flight. This is not the same Robert Ludwig. Tool and Adam says, yes, he's like 81 years old and he still masters records. And I go, you
Wow.
cannot be serious, because I collect vinyl. And when I see the name Robert Ludwig on a record, I know it sounds perfect, like that guy. So I go to my record company, Gerardo Martinez and Oscar, his brother, at Reigning Phoenix Music. That's my record company. I go, look, man, if you want to make me happy, let Robert Ludwig master this record. And they're like, okay. And I'm like, oh my Lord. So he mastered this song and my whole album. And since then, he has retired and he doesn't do it anymore. So this album is one of the last ever in the catalog of the greatest mastering engineer the world has ever known. Like, if you want to hear mastering, go get the record Donald Fagen, The Night Fly. It's
Oh,
what a beautiful world this will be. Now, now. You know that tune. You want
hmm.
to hear your stereo sound like butter. Like that's what sound engineers at gigs use to EQ the PA, okay?
Hmm.
So he did this song. Like, everybody's like, wow, this sounds great. I go, well, Robert Ludwig does not mess around. Elvis Baskett does not mess around. Those two together is my new record. And I am, as a collector, I'm a fan of my own album. Like, for real. Like,
Oh,
because
that's
I collect Elvis Baskett, like Wolfgang Van Halen's album sounds so impeccably great. But with Robert Ludwig mastering, that's what you hear. That's me being an audiophile, getting exactly what I want. And the whole album is just what I want.
so when it's finally released in 2024, are you going to
Mhm.
release it on vinyl too?
That's the whole that I'm making a vinyl record is what I'm doing.
Oh,
And
this is
I
awesome.
to the artwork and everything, what's gonna come out, and I've told Reigning Phoenix Music what I really want, okay, like Metallica, Kill 'Em All, when they reissued it, and Donald Fagen, The Nightfly, the highest quality you can get on vinyl is when they make the 12-inch vinyl records, but they're at 45 RPM and it's a double album set. That's coming from for this record.
Oh,
This is going to be
fantastic.
the highest quality vinyl you can get. And
Who who's in the band?
well, I started I did an album 10 years ago. It's so crazy.
Time flies.
I thought it was 8 years ago, but people are telling me it's 10. I don't know exactly. But it's called Give 'Em Hell. It was my last album. And I worked with a guitar player named Devin Bronson, who who I was introduced to from Duff McKagan from Guns N' Roses. He goes, Baz, I got this guitar player who's such an incredible songwriter. You got to hook up with them. And that was from Duff. Duff was on my last record. And that's Devin Bronson. And so Devin, I teamed up with again. He just crushes me with riffs. Like he'll send me like 5 ideas and I will like 2 of them, but he won't get his feelings hurt. He'll say, okay, and then he'll send me 10 more. So I'm
That's
like,
awesome.
and
Creativity.
that's how it happened. But then when I went to do the record, Miles Kennedy reached out to Elvis, his buddy, and said, hey, would Sebastian be interested in hearing any of my ideas? And I go, are you kidding me? Like, I don't care if my neighbor wrote a good song. Like, I don't, man, I'm now here. Now I'm gonna lay something heavy on you. My dad was an art teacher. And when I was a kid, my dad taught me this whole thing about form versus content. And I was like 9 or 10. And he was saying, Sebastian, in art, the form of something is who did it or what's the intention or whatever. The content is what is it? Like like what is the content? So this was drilled into my head at an early age. And when Skid Row sent me a cassette in 1987, there was a couple of song ideas on there. One was Youth Gone Wild and one was 18 in Life. And the content of those songs was so powerful. I didn't say, who wrote this or where did this come from? It just, the song itself hit me just like it hit you. But then other songs didn't hit me. And that makes songwriters mad at me, like as a singer. Oh, he's hard to work with or whatever. But the thing is, man, as a vocalist, I can't put my heart into something that I don't feel. Okay.
Mm.
So I feel Youth Gone Wild. I feel I Remember You. I feel that in my bones. I feel What Do I Got to Lose? I feel it in my bones. And when I feel it, that's when you get to hear it. And that's the way it's been since Monkey Business, Subhuman, everything I've ever put out. Sometimes I miss the mark a little bit, but even my book that I wrote, 18 in Life on Skid Row, when I read it and when it was done, like when I read the part when my dad brought me to the Kiss show, like I had tears streaming down my face. So I knew it was done. I go, dude, your book is done now. Like if you're crying reading it, it's done. You did it. It's good. It's good. But that's my marker. And when I listen to this song and when I watch the video, it just makes me feel incredible. And I really feel like there's a lack of fun in rock and roll these days. I feel like the internet makes people argue against each other. You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
like when you worked at KUPD and I was in Madam X in 87, rock and roll was nothing but fun. It was just
Oh,
all
party.
like we used to go see Van Halen and Dave would come out and go, I forgot the fucking words. We would
Yep.
look at each other and laugh and go, he forgot the words. And he thought that was the greatest thing. Like that's rock and roll was so much fun. And I just want to put fun back into rock. And when I watch my new video, all I have is a smile on my face. Like I have a smile and I just enjoy it. And the whole album is along those lines.
Do you have any special guests on the record this year? And you mentioned the last one you had Duff on 10 years
Yeah.
ago. Anybody that you could tell us about?
Mhm. The next video that we're shooting is called Freedom, and I co-wrote that song with John Five from
Oh,
Motley Crue, and he's going to be in the video. And the lead he plays is outlandish. It's like from space. It's just so cool. So that's the next one coming with John Five. I also have Orianthi,
oh, she's
guitar
amazing.
player. Yeah, we wrote a song together on the album, and Steve Stevens from Billy Idol's band. That's
Wow.
our second or third album in a row. This is my third.
So,
Um,
so Sebastian,
yeah.
why so long between records? I know you've been busy, man. I just wondered why so long in between new music from you.
Well, that had a lot to do with business and also the pandemic. That took the wind out of all our sails, like
Yes.
for a couple of years. So, but that's when I actually buckled down because I had nothing else to do other than cameos. But so yeah, I used that time to go to Orlando, Florida. We all lived at Elvis Basquet's Studio Barbarossa, and
Y'all live there together?
yeah, I've never had an experience like that. Like the closest was the first Skid Row album, but we lived in the same hotel then, but we didn't live in the same house. Like for this album, we all lived together and just focused on the album. And I can't wait for it to come out. I can't wait for you to hear it.
So I presume you're going to be doing some touring next year sometime?
Yeah, we have a full South American tour booked right now. Brazil, Argentina, Chile, Uruguay, just these crazy countries. But okay, and we're also doing some shows with Mr. Big down there, which is pretty cool.
Oh,
But
wow.
we're also doing Welcome to Rockville. And the reason I am excited about that is that's with Foo Fighters and Slipknot and Evanescence and all these 90s bands. And I'm excited about that because those festivals usually don't have uh good bands. I didn't say that. Those I didn't say that. Sorry. I know that'll be the headline. Sebastian Bach. No, those festivals usually don't have bands that have been around for 35, 40 years like me. But this festival has Judas Priest, Motley Crue, but I'm not on that day, which is weird. But it's cool that they're giving me a shot. This festival, Welcome to Rockville, it's part of the Danny Wimmer
Hmm.
Presents, and they're giving Sebastian Bach a shot at that. So I'm very appreciative. And it's now called Welcome to Bachville. So look out.
And then after that, you hopefully we get you through the Southwest, maybe through Phoenix or Tucson. Pop by, do a
Well,
show.
well, they're putting me on one and usually like there's 30 of those. So if I could get in all of them, that would be great.
That'd be fantastic. So, I know you've been super busy besides, your music and that, but you've done acting, you've done Broadway, and just recently you were unmasked on
Yeah.
the Masked Singer. What was that like for you? Was that fun? And how was that keeping that secret?
Oh, that was torture. I haven't been able to talk about The Masked Singer. I haven't been able to talk about my album, and now I can talk about it. So it feels great.
It's like you
Uh,
were
I,
revealed on one night, the very next day the song dropped. I thought it was pretty cool.
well, that was the plan, and we executed it like a military operation.
Perfect. So
And
what was it like on the show?
I thought it was funny because I lost The Masked Singer in a way, and then the song called "What Do I Got to Lose." But anyways, I thought that the show, before I did it, I thought it was like about comedy and the costumes, which it definitely is. It is about that. But then when I did it, it was about singing. Like for me, like there was a vocal coach there. They let me choose the songs that I wanted, that I got to sing, which was great. They couldn't clear some songs that I was gonna sing, but I picked "Goodbye Yellow Brick Road" by Elton John and "Magic" by Pilot, which I is totally in my vocal range. Like that song is right in my where I can really project my voice. It's I have a high voice, so and then even did a Lady Gaga song, "Monster," which is crazy. And but I was made for loving you by Kiss, which was kind of uh incredible timing because me and my wife Suzanne got to go to the very last ever Kiss show
Oh,
at Madison Square Garden last Saturday night. And then last Wednesday I was doing I Was Made for Loving You on The Masked Singer, so that worked out pretty great.
was it definitely was it I have no idea what these costumes are like on the inside, but I've worn a couple of them in my career. But was it hot and sweaty under that thing? Was it?
It was absolutely hot and sweaty. And the sound is weird in there. It's like you're in, like a toilet paper tube. Or like I felt like the Michelin Man or something like that. And the first couple of times I put that costume on, you cannot get in and out of it on your own. You need like four people.
Oh wow.
So that's very claustrophobic and kind of gives you anxiety when you're kind of trapped in there. And so the first couple times when they were taking it off, they're like, okay, I had to put my arms like out, and then they would take it off, and there's like a seatbelt strap in there, like you're in a car, and somebody has to reach in and undo the strap, and then there's a millisecond where you're totally immobile, and I'm like, pull this thing off right now.
Oh wow. Yeah, I can imagine. It'd be a little bit claustrophobic,
Yeah,
or a
yeah.
lot claustrophobic.
Yeah. And it's very different singing when you can't put your body in whatever, like, okay, I used to watch Joe Cocker when I was a kid, okay?
Hmm.
I used to see Joe Cocker on TV, and he would make his body would contort into these weird shapes, and I go, what the heck is this guy doing? Like, what is wrong with him? But then when I became a singer, I like to get sounds to come out of your mouth. Sometimes you have to, I don't know what it is, but you have to like contort your body into these different shapes, like to get these sounds to come out. But when you're wearing that costume, you can't do that. You can't do that. Like
Oh,
my
because it's
wife,
probably stiff.
yeah, you can't.
Huh?
You're strapped in, and you can't move the way that you do without it. And my wife was like, "Oh, Sebastian, I knew it was you because of your hand gestures, peace signs, and all this." And I go, honey, that's the only movement I had. I didn't have. I was like a Tyrannosaurus Rex, like with little tiny arms, like me.
So
I
she,
didn't have any other way to move. That was the only way I had. So
well, she knows you because she knew your hand
yeah,
gestures.
he knows me. Yeah, yeah. But I had a great time doing it, man. And it's actually led to some other TV that is even crazier that I'm going to do, but I can't tell you what that is yet. But I
Understandable.
got some other shows from that since then that I'm going to be filming that are, you won't believe it.
So did you think when you were like hanging out at Rockers when you were 16, 17, that your life would lead you to more than just being in a rock band? I mean, you've done you're kind of a renaissance guy. You act, you've done Broadway, you've been, you are a rock star. I mean, did you think this other stuff would come from that?
Well, no. I'm also doing an iHeartRadio Gilmore Girls fan event in Burbank, California at on January 17th. It's a reunion with Gilmore Girls, and I'm gonna be there in person. So that's gonna be cool. No, but the thing is that I went to a all boys private school when I was a little boy. I when my parents got divorced, they sent me away to to go to a school that I lived at. I didn't just go there. I lived there, and there was no girls there, which is insane. But it was very intense, and it was kind of like it wasn't a military academy, but it was like a very traditional English Canadian boarding school. And I took theater there. And before that, I was a lead singer in my church choir. And so I've always been a singer. Since I was 8 years old, I've identified myself, and I have been a singer in a choir or a church or a band. So when bands were getting their members together when I was 13 or 12 or that age, everybody had a guitar player, everybody had a drummer, nobody had a singer. Nobody. Like everybody's like, nobody can sing. But I was from the church choir, so I could sing. And so that's led to everything. That's led to everything. But you're to the like acting on TV. No, I never foresaw that. But when I look back at my childhood, I kind of have skills that was taught to me that when I was trying out for bands, I was like, I'm gonna get this gig because you don't know stuff that I know.
I mean, just talking to you, Sebastian, it's interesting talking the music because when you look at a person's public persona, you don't think like we're talking all kinds of music today this morning. So it's
Yeah.
it's really cool to hear the wide variety and styles of music that you love.
Well, you know what's really crazy? Like I'll always be a metalhead because I love the power and the energy of heavy metal. But at my age, sometimes I don't want my heart to be racing and fucking crazy and like I that's what metal does to me. Like it makes me fired up and wild. Like that's what it does when I listen to it. What I really always listen to is yacht rock. I listen to 70s Doobie Brothers, Michael McDonald, Boz Scaggs, like that station,
Yep.
Yacht Rock on Sirius, me and my wife listen to constantly. I love the production, the smooth
The
sounds,
slickness of it.
luxurious studios,
Well,
all
what's
that.
what's funny is for years I hosted a metal show on KUPD in Phoenix, and now I host a Sunday morning yacht rock show on the classic rock station. So yeah, I understand. I love all kinds of music, and it just depends on
Yeah.
my mood, but I want to hear at that moment. So
Yeah, that's the thing. It depends on my mood. It depends if I want to get wild, I'll put on Van Halen or Judas Priest, you know, but I don't always want to get wild at my age. You know.
So, Sebastian, we got to wrap things up here real quick. But if somebody wants to follow you, is it sebastianbach.com? How do people follow you
Yes,
on the internet?
and I gotta say something in this interview. I put out a record back in 2010 called Angel Down. And that, you know, I wasn't used to putting out that was the first record I put out like in the internet. And so right when it came out, I ran to the internet, I read all the comments, and that was a big mistake. Okay. That
I
was
know
for
the
that.
feeling.
And I just make a long story short, I said, I'm never doing that again. I go, the next record I put out, I'm just gonna put it out. I'm not gonna read comment, I'm not gonna argue with people or anything. I'm just gonna let it go. So since I put this out, I kind of like walked away from the internet because I just said, dude, let the song and the video have a life of its own. Don't go in there and yell at people.
Don't feed the trolls.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
I kind of have walked back from the internet. If everybody's going, why aren't you on Twitter all day? Like, I don't care anymore about Elon. I don't care. Like, I care about my song. I care about my video. I care about talking to you, Larry, to get the word out. But as far as going on Twitter or this and that and art, I'm just over that, man. Like really, like I'm not into that anymore.
Understandable.
I'm just into good times, good vibes, and making great music. That's what I'm here to do, and that's what I love to do.
And the new song is called "What Do I Got to Lose" off a unnamed album as of yet. That's going to be released sometime next year.
Right on, and I hope to talk to you then, man.
I
Because
hope
it.
so, man. And I'll leave you with this real quick. 3 years ago, before COVID, I was up in Phoenix at the Celebrity Theater, sitting
Oh
about
yeah.
2 rows behind where you were standing, watching you play cowbell during Blue Oyster Cult's um, "Don't Fear the Reaper" at Alice Cooper's Christmas Pudding Show.
Oh,
And by the way, you put on a fantastic show that evening. I just wanted to tell you that.
oh, thank you. Guess who I was with last night?
Who?
Alice Cooper.
Oh, yep. I was
Yeah,
just
I
at
was
a
with
Christmas.
Alice and
Was he up at
Cheryl.
that show?
Yeah,
Oh, wow. Okay. I
and
saw him on Saturday night for his pudding show.
I had a moment last night that I have to share with you. Alice was done his set last night, and I was warming up for my set. So we were sharing a bathroom. I was in the bathroom going la 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 la. And Alice comes in the bathroom, and I said, "Hey, Alice, if you need the bathroom, I will leave." He goes, "No, no, don't worry about it, man." Alice goes, "I got to get this makeup off my face." I go, "Oh my God!" So Alice Cooper is looking in the mirror, taking his makeup off, and I'm warming up in the bathroom, and I'm going, lee, 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 lee. And I'm going, oh my God. And I'm looking at Alice taking his makeup off while I'm warming up my voice. And I just, as a rock fan, I go, man, it doesn't get much cooler than this.
Um, Sebastian, this thing's going to cut off of me in a few seconds, but I want to thank you so much for taking time, man. I appreciate it. I hope we talk again soon when you get the new
Thank you,
song and the new
Larry.
album out.
I really enjoyed talking to you. You're a rock fan. I'm a rock fan. Great talking to you.
I'll talk to you soon, Sebastian.
All
Thank you
right,
so
buddy.
much, man.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.